You all are gonna call me crazy, but I blame Fortnite. So there's this whole unfortunate situation where Blizzard decided to release a half-assed game, and everybody seems to be really upset. And what I mean is, essentially, Overwatch 2, nobody can seem to justify this game's existence, because Overwatch 2 is almost a cardboard cutout of what Overwatch 1 was. Overwatch 1 was just all around pretty much the same game, and honestly better because the progression system didn't cost money. When you bought the game, you had the whole game. So in the gaming industry, there just seems to be a horrible trend when it comes to multiplayer games. Not only do a lot of them seem to be just completely half-assed, they're just garbage. They aren't quite as exciting as prior games. Like honestly, people like Halo 3 more than people like Halo Infinite. People like Halo Reach more than they like Halo Infinite. And quite honestly, I am tired of multiplayer games that are coming out because they don't feel like they used to. What I mean by this is normally with multiplayer games these days, when it comes to like cosmetics or anything, there's always some stupid loot crate system or some season pass that I just want nothing to do with. You know, in games, when it came to progression and unlocking things, they would used to just regularly hand out updates and there was no DLC components. It was the game that you bought, you got everything in it that everyone else could get. It's not that way anymore. That is the way of the dinosaur. What these gaming companies now speak is money. And because they like money so much, they keep releasing these live service games that are never properly supported. They literally shut down multiverses. Like, let me repeat. They literally shut down multiverses because they couldn't properly support it. And they lost so much of their player base that there was no justification of keeping that game up. And I'm hopeful that when it relaunches, it's going to be a great game. Because the game that I played in the beta, I actually enjoyed. It's just there wasn't enough to keep players coming back. And this is just a common trend where you buy the game and people play it a month after launch and then it pretty much dies. And that's what we're seeing with most multiplayer games. Now what Overwatch has that many of these games don't have is a competitive scene. Like Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in 2001 and people are still playing it with just a presence of a competitive scene, which is a really big component to keep players coming back. It's just a part of keeping people streaming content, keeping people engaged with it when they have esports involved. And not every single game has that. And Overwatch does have a community, but quite frankly, this community is a little hurt because they aren't getting the gameplay that they were promised. They aren't getting that story mode. And quite frankly, that was the selling point, I think, of this game. Because that was what differentiated it from Overwatch 1. Because really what they could have done is just released, updates to Overwatch 1 and added new characters. Basically, it would be the same thing. Add in a couple maps here and there. Because there's no justification for this game existing. And many YouTubers are very upset. Many people are making content. And it's just disappointing to see another casualty due to the live service business model that everybody is sick and tired of, but people keep spending money on. So us as gamers, I think that, there is such a demand for gaming that even calling people to action and saying, hey, just don't play the game, don't buy the game, in most cases it's redundant. But we have seen examples such as multiverses, and then what happened with the Suicide Squad game and it being delayed, a fan backlash and feedback starting to catch up. And I think Gotham Knights probably could have sold way more copies had it been handled more properly. Same thing with Marvel's Avengers. And pretty soon here, that bubble might actually burst. So there is a hint of hope, but certain brands, such as like Pokemon, people are going to buy no matter what, even when the game is released in a crappy state, a garbage state. People will eat it up like candy, and it needs to change. We want quality games. That's a fact. Right now, Xbox doesn't have exclusives, so PlayStation isn't going to be challenged, but they are releasing, God of War and really, really awesome titles, such as Spider-Man 2 that I'm looking forward to.
We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution or win for us.
Nintendo does its own thing, that's great. But, it's Nintendo, so it's not really pushing any technical aspects in the gaming industry. Like, they aren't going to be tapping into the next Unreal Engine 5. So, it's just Mario, Pokemon, all that's fun, but, it's not really groundbreaking. And I want more groundbreaking. I want us, as consumers, to challenge the developers, to challenge these companies to make quality products. And that is just not happening. And it's unfortunate. Because as a gamer myself, I grew up on gaming. I love going back to old games that were released 20 years ago. But a lot of recent titles, I just don't feel like they're pushing any boundaries. They're releasing the same games with a new coat of paint, just slightly better graphics. And graphically, we have seen some games that are pushing, the market and releasing some really, really realistic stuff. And it's starting to catch up with Unreal Engine 5 and the next generation of consoles. I just want it to be breathtaking, like something that would just, knock me out upon seeing it. And I just haven't been impressed. I haven't felt impressed in a while. But I'm hopeful. Hogwarts Legacy was a beautiful game. It looked great. It just didn't run on my PC because it was not optimized for low-end PCs, which I happen to have. And not to mention Jedi Fallen Order on PC. It basically doesn't run at all on most people's computers. Goodness. That's where we're at. The gaming industry is not seeing consequences when they release trash or broken games. It's unfortunate. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this Overwatch situation. And what you think about the gaming industry as a whole. Do we think that change is inevitable? Do we think that people are going to slowly stop buying these live service model games? Or is this trend going to continue? Let me know below. But, at the end of the day, I blame Fortnite. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.